Over here on the left side, we will note that we have double Soviets. The map is going to be Vo Farmland, so that's always a good one. I love this map very much. And over here on the right side, we will see Oberkommando West and Oster representing the Axis. Wow, very quick doctrine selection from Zetshu, that's for sure. He went with shock rifle, so he will have access to the IS-2 later. Certainly not wasting any time in picking his doctrine. And his teammate, wow, has also already chosen his doctrine, shock motor. So going to be lots of shock troops being used this game, that's for sure. And then we will be seeing plenty of Soviet heavy armor later on. Meanwhile, over here on the Axis side, Fahu going to go with Volksgrenadier into Kubelwagen start, grabbing some territory here with his Volks and Stern Pioneers, and his teammate R1G1 going to be going with Grenadiers straight into MG42. And no doctrine selections from the Axis players just yet. Hopefully he will be doing that at the appropriate time. We do have some Pioneers moving up here to grab a strategic point. Probably going to be encountering these combat engineers up there at the fuel relatively soon. Stern Pioneers make it down to the VP quite quickly. They should be able to win an engagement against these combat engineers, I suspect. Conscripts also moving down to take some territory, and it looks like the Allies here are just completely skipping straight past the territory and just moving straight down towards the fuel, which I find really kind of a little bit strange. Not sure I agree with that decision, but I guess we'll see how it works out for them. It does mean that they will be able to get more units down here into the engagement quicker. That being said, they are up against the Kubelwagen and Sturm Pioneers, so it's going to be could be a difficult engagement for them to win, but we'll see what happens. Maxim being set up, conscripts over here, and they get pretty much immediately suppressed. Meanwhile, here in the middle, Volksgrenadiers are going to take control of the munitions, and the north is actually falling to the Axis pretty much unopposed.
Area secure. Volksgrenadier ready for action. Ready for the battle is about to commence.
Maxim continuing to move down through here.
Under fire! Taking HMG fire! Return fire!
Conscripts
Target secure.
also doing what they can, trying to outmaneuver this Kubelwagen. Territory continuing to go to Germany unopposed up here in the north. Somehow the Allies still haven't even managed to capture this territory over here. Still haven't done much, so map control really not going in the Allies' favor right now. I think this play to just skip past their initial territory and make a hard push for the south isn't really paying off. They're kind of struggling. They have managed to pin these Stern Pioneers, so it looks like they are about to win this engagement. Kubelwagen won't be able to necessarily do too much against those Maxims by itself anyway. Ooh, he takes a full burst right there. Being really aggressive with that Kubelwagen. This Maxim's going to turn to fire at it right in the rear, though. Fortunately, it's maybe going to get away. Nope, there it goes. I think that attempt at a flank was a little bit misguided. I don't know how I could have possibly succeeded, but that being said, territory looks just fine.
Enemy infantry!
And Grenadiers are facing off against some of the Soviet infantry here. Meanwhile, in the north, it looks like Ricky isn't really sure what his opponent is doing. Nothing up here, so he's going to set up some defenses, throw up a bunker, throw up an MG42, and just try and keep that territory locked down. It's important not to dig in too hard up here because it's quite difficult to defend so far away from your base, especially without support from your teammate. We actually have a second Kubelwagen hitting the field, so that's good to see. We have these infantry facing off against these Volksgrenadiers. Volksgrenadiers are just shouldn't be fighting at such close range. They really don't stand a chance against those superior numbers. They will get forced away. Kubelwagen moving up. And forcing away those squads. . 。  . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Sandbag fighting position being constructed down here.
Grenadiers back to full strength.
And it looks like the Allies have managed to take a pretty decent hold on this fuel down here. Wow, look at this. 2 Kuba wagons, so that's 3 Kuba wagons now being produced by Fahu, which I'm not sure I agree with. It's not that effective to use Kuba wagons against Soviet Tier 2. But I guess we'll see if he can make it work. I mean, they really don't have any solution for the Maxim in a building. This Maxim actually, in particular, somewhat vulnerable. This particular house is bugged, by the way. Any house with this model, it's also on Faymanville approach, a single grenade or any kind of damage really to the frontal door destroys the entire building. So it's actually kind of dangerous to put any units inside of there. Kuba wagons suppressing conscripts up here. In the middle, these conscripts trying to harass the munitions a little bit. This Axis has pushed all the way up here. Could probably even continue pushing up there because the Allies just appear to have no interest in the top area of the map. Instead, setting up this huge defense here on the bottom fuel. But I think setting up a defensive line like that when you don't hold half the map is just asking for trouble against the Axis. Maxim taking up a position in this house here.
Salvaging destroyed vehicles and weapons will yield.
Firing on those Volksgrenadiers. Probably will be getting suppressed soon, but the Sturm Pioneers with Kuba wagon support quickly force away those conscripts. It looks like he's actually going to try to brute force the Maxim out of the house with his Sturm Pioneers, and Kuba wagon could happen if that Maxim doesn't switch targets off of those Volksgrenadiers. They'll be able to take the damage no problem. Maxim already down to 4 men, so it looks like this engagement could go to the Fahu here. Yeah, that definitely isn't going to stand a chance. Even the Volksgrenadiers will be fine. Maxim down. Meanwhile, over here, conscripts moving up from Cappy to take some territory in the south area. 221 on the field is moving up. Ooh. Looks like he was not paying attention to that flamethrower squad, and that's going to go down. That's a shame. Fahu's infantry here in the center munitions point. We need to fall back and get some healing. We will note that battle group headquarters is up and the retreat point is being unlocked now. So lots of manpower actually being spent by Fahu on these early game units. I'm kind of surprised to see him go with 3 Kuba wagons into a retreat point. I think that's about 1,000 manpower roughly being spent on that low tier stuff that just has no like mid or late game battlefield impact. I mean, not that the retreat point's not going to be a good idea. I'm just saying that that's 3 Kuba wagons basically. It's just really leaving him with very little infantry at the moment. Still, 3 Volksgrenadiers will be able to do what they can. The Soviets have 1 squad of shock troops, on the field here. Wow, Zeshu's entire army is apparently suppressed right now. Half of it here, half of it down here by a Kuba wagon. That's kind of funny. I've never seen anything like that before. Cappy, wow, Cappy's doing much better for unit preservation though. Take a look at what he's got, mostly because his entire army is just kind of sitting down here on these southern points. Which is unfortunate because I think if he made a coordinated push for the center, even for this thing, oh geez, if he had caught that setting up, for example, that could have been devastating. Smoke grenade going out, but those shock troops will be getting pinned. These Volksgrenadiers are going to go down. Yep, there they go. These conscripts definitely aren't going to be able to do anything up against this. Bit of a flank happening over here, though. They are going to get behind the bunker. The bunker's actually not even upgraded with machine gun. It's just a standard bunker. This machine gun defending the victory point, so he's throwing a Molotov at that. Molotov and a standard grenade apparently going out on that bunker for some reason. Okay, that's not really going to accomplish much. Ooh, Kuba wagon chasing these heavily wounded squads. Its damage on the move isn't great, but it looks like it's enough to wipe 1 squad. The other one should be fine. These conscripts are way too wounded to accomplish much of anything. Possibly trying to go in on for an AT grenade? No, he doesn't. He hasn't researched it, sadly. Kugelwagen will be able to get to safety pretty much no problem. It looks like that machine gun did reposition. Yeah, Molotov actually did pretty respectable damage to that bunker. But certainly not enough to destroy it, and the Axis will be able to retake that territory, no problem. Oh, that conscript squad just got wiped. Is that a grenade? It looks like a grenade just went off right there, wiping out that whole squad. Meanwhile, Cappy continues to just kind of sit his army AFK down here in this area down here. And I think his teammate is really suffering in engagements as a result. And this map is so big that it'll really punish a campy playstyle like this. You won't be able to hold enough important sectors of the map. So much for that Kugelwagen. Fahu keeps on trying to like circle around behind these Maxims with his Kugelwagens, but it really just does not work at all. Trying to suppress them from range, from outside their arc of fire, can be effective, at least to support an engagement. But I wouldn't expect a Kugelwagen to try to be able to kill a Maxim on its own. Smoke grenade going out. Shock troops continuing to attempt to take some territory here in the middle. They're probably not going to be able to get unsuppressed under Volksgrenadier fire. Oh, that could be a nice grenade. Almost wiping the squad. Fortunately, they were just barely spread out enough to be able to survive. Whoa, whoops. Bit of an engagement happening over here. Lots of Soviet infantry contending with a pretty small force from Rookie 01.
Shock troops can now be used to crush the enemy.
They will be charging, and those Panzer Grenadiers are going to be forced to retreat. Bundle grenade going out first, but it was not terribly effective. Meanwhile, over here, we do see that the Soviets are getting cut off. And this is actually a pretty brittle defense. 2 field guns, 1 Maxim and a mortar. This could easily be overwhelmed, honestly, by not that much stuff. Like a decent push with 1 or 2 vehicles and some infantry could definitely unseat that.
You need something built?
And of course they're being cut off, so there really is no benefit to staying here. Capturing some territory here, munitions falling back to the Allies as well. Ooh, infiltration grenades. Oh, those were nice. Almost completely wiping out that Maxim, which is one reason why garrisoning units in these tiny little buildings is so dangerous, because grenades are so effective. Shock troops also almost get taken out. They will make it away. Maxim's not so lucky. Fahu setting up his defensive position here. It looks like his teammate is taking good advantage of that, reinforcing and healing up out of his teammate's base structure. We do have shock troops moving through here. Smoke grenade going out. And then following up immediately the standard grenade, interesting. And then he's just going to dive right in. He could actually do quite well in this engagement, but the smoke is preventing him from firing on some of these units. And it looks like this machine gun is going to reposition to fire on his shock troops here. He's not closing in quite as close as he should with those shock troops. His damage is slightly reduced. There he goes. Oh, but he actually runs past those grenadiers to try and charge that machine gun, which packed up. Why would he pack that up? Oh, fortunately there's another one back here to support. And those shock troops will get suppressed, so that's good. Meanwhile, this territory is falling back to the Soviets. This territory just remains completely uncontested. There's nothing up here except for an unupgraded bunker and 1 machine gun. It's unfortunate that the Soviets haven't produced any armor yet. Actually, if we take a look at Zetsu, we will see, or not Zetsu, but well, yes, we'll actually see mechanized armor Campanile from both of them. So they've both gone tier 4. Interesting decision considering we have shock motor and shock motor and shock rifle being chosen. Let's see tier 4. I would expect one of them at least to go tier 3. or even not tech up at all and just bring in like the heavy stuff. But apparently maybe they're both going to get Katyushas, or maybe they're going to get Su-85s or something. Ostwind hitting the field from Fahu. And again, I really don't think that its anti-infantry performance is up to scratch. That being said, this is not an Oster Ostwind, this is a Over Commando West Ostwind, so at least he didn't have to tech up to tier 4 to get it, but still 100 fuel is a pretty heavy price tag, considering what you get out of it. 5 kills. Doing what it can against these shock troops. It is actually a pretty effective deterrent to shock troops, so I will say that. He and both of these Soviet players have gone with shock troops, so I certainly don't blame him for fielding something that can contend with all of these heavy infantry. Oh jeez. No Sturm. Oh no, they don't make it away. They couldn't round the corner. They do get taken out. That being said, those shock troops are taking heavy damage. Ooh, artillery getting called in here. Probably an incendiary barrage. Looks like it's not going to quite do anything though, sadly. All of the Soviet infantry is being forced away. Oh, there is an Su-85 on the field though. Ooh, both of its shots miss. The field gun does get one shot off, but the Ostwind will make it a safety. And we actually see an Oster Ostwind as well. Wow, lots of Ostwinds showing up in this tournament. I'm actually really enjoying that. During this tournament, I'm seeing some things that I don't normally see. No. So that is going to be tier 3 from the Oster player, throwing out an Ostwind, and potentially following that up with Panzer IV. He actually has quite a lot of fuel stockpiled, and he hasn't chosen a doctrine yet. He has access to elite troops. Spearhead and Jaeger armor, so who knows what he might choose to do. I guess we'll see. Smoke grenade going off there. Shock troops taking damage. Pretty big wave of Soviet infantry coming in here to push back Rookie's infantry forces. We actually will see a Panzer IV hitting the field soon. Ostwind kind of just hovering in the area. Ooh, high explosive barrage being fired. Looks like we're finally going to see a pretty serious push, but this area, no reaction to this artillery barrage that's coming in. I'm not sure what that is. Scavenger artillery, maybe. Yep, I think so. Ooh. Oh, jeez. Building goes down. Building goes down, and there were some pretty good shots actually on these team weapons as well. What a perfect push by Fahu. Flawless, taking almost no losses, and he will be able to recover or salvage all of these team weapons. Looks like he's going to go for the steal rather than the salvage. Certainly nothing wrong with that. Oh geez, I think a teller mine just got triggered by that Su-85, and its engine is destroyed. Unfortunately, there's nothing in the area that can follow up. There is a Panzer IV on the field. Possibly going to send it over here to try and finish that thing off. There's a Katyusha firing in this area. Trying to damage the bunker and possibly clear the MG. Ooh. And succeeding at destroying the bunker. MG down to one man. Here comes the Panzer IV. He's actually opting not to go in on the SU just yet because, oh geez, he wants to finish off that Katyusha, and he does so in one shot. Going to follow that up with the kill on this Su-85. Oh god. And there it goes. No chance. What a great entrance for that Panzer IV to make. The timing could not have been better. And that was an excellent teller mine as well. Sadly, there was just nothing in the area that could prevent that, and as soon as the AT grenades and the field guns show up, it's just too late. Yester's already dead, Katusha's already been destroyed. We finally do see a bit of a push, however, for the northern territory, so that's good to see. It's so late in the game, though, 20 minutes. He should have been fighting for this pretty much the entire time.
The enemy is taking our
And now that the
territory.
Axis have pretty much completely taken control of the south, it is not looking good for the Soviets.
We are losing a sector.
Things have kind of calmed down a little bit, both sides repairing and regrouping. We do have some territory finally getting retaken by the Soviets up here, although the munitions are both going to fall into Axis hands soon. And the Axis medium armor has been doing a good job of staying alive, trying to vet up. That Panzer IV is going to be vet 1 very soon. And we'll also see that the Ostwind actually has done nothing. The Ostwind doesn't even have any kills at all. Hopefully that's about to change up against these shock troops. Getting some kills in, staying at range. And this Panzer IV and Ostwind screen is gonna inflict some pretty serious bleed on this Soviet infantry. Those are forced away. Smoke grenades being thrown out, actually. Interesting. Giving cover and time for this field gun to move up and fire on this armor. More shock troops moving up to support, potentially inflicting heavy losses on this infantry. Ostwind is firing, though. Nice positioning of the field gun to fire on the Ostwind. Oh, geez, that grenade just wiped a squad, I think. Yeah, Panzer Grenadiers just went down. Unfortunately, no Panzer Schrecks dropped, but that could have been huge if those shock troops had recovered those. But while all of this is happening, Fahu has taken every single point on the map. This one all the way up into the Soviet base, and this one cutting the Soviets off completely, giving them a huge resource deficit. And that's going to allow the Axis to just keep on producing massive quantities of armor. Panzer IVs are just going to keep coming, and if he decides to go elite troops and call him a Tiger Ace, he's going to have a massive tank army at his disposal. And oh man, full squad's getting wiped left and right. GG being exchanged, and that is going to be surrender. So Fadisaurus is going to win this game. Really, probably the most one-sided game of the tournament so far. Yikes. That was brutal. Hopefully, when the factions are switched for round 2, things will be a little bit more even. And I'm kind of disappointed, actually, that not a single matchup has gone into round 3. But I guess, or not round 3, but rather match 3. But I guess as the tournament proceeds and the best teams are matched up against each other, things will start to get really heated and really intense, really close. That's what I'm hoping anyway, but this is just match 1. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in match 2, and we'll get started with that one right away.